Hey fellow freelancers, Johnny5 Alive here, and welcome back to another Anthem video. We got some spicy stuff today. The devs respond about the missing patch notes in March 9th's patch, as well as they break the silence and respond to the loot outrage on Reddit. Yes, they have responded. Hooey, and we have some leaked armor to show off here today, as well as some pretty cool tips and tricks near the end of the video. So stay tuned and let's get right into it. Alright guys, kicking things off with a bang, let's take a look at these leaked armor images. Here's the first one here. We can see this is the Storm. It looks like it's a Scar armor set, which is crazy because at one point I was saying, wouldn't that be cool if there was a Scar armor set? But I'll show you what I ended up discovering later on. Next up we have, looks like this would be the Ranger, I believe. This is the Colossus. And last but not least, we have the Interceptor. At least I believe that's how it is. Pretty meaty and chunky looking armor. Now, is this a leak? I mean, someone data mined this, obviously, put it out there. But check this out. This image here is something I found in the dev stream. Like, literally just went to their YouTube channel and pulled this straight out of one of their customization videos from probably like 2 months ago. This is a Scar helmet. The exact same one that you're seeing on the Ranger. So this was already in the game, and this was kind of promised to be like free content at launch. One of the 6 or 7 customization options that we had access to. But there is some armor sets in here that are missing from the game. So I have a feeling that this stuff is going to be added into the vanity chests come the end of Strongholds. And that should be at the end of the month in the end of March update that we're expecting to see this month. So very cool stuff there. So boom, we got that out of the way really quickly. Let's move on to some Bioware responses on Reddit. So this post here by Grimoire says, the real most rare drop at the moment is a Bioware reply. Well, it's not so rare today, guys. Bioware sends their people to Reddit. It's your turn to go in. Nah, it's Jim's up today. Jim comes over, stand back. He's wearing a hazmat suit, goes into the Reddit room, Anthem game team Reddit room, I guess. And it's just an interrogation. Where's all the loot? No communication. Enough is enough. We need better loot. Bioware, sort your game out. Summon the loot. Holy freaking moly. That's what it feels like to be a Bioware employee right now, ladies and gentlemen. It probably doesn't feel good. We're going to get into that. So, community manager Darokaz has come out with a post 1 hour ago. This is hot news right here, ladies and gentlemen. Missing notes from the 1.03 update. And here he has to say, hey freelancers, to start, I don't have any answers on loot yet. The team is discussing and looking at player feedback and game telemetry. I'll share more on that soon as I have an update. For this post, I want to address the patch notes and missed items. It was not our intent to leave things out, but during the work of getting the update out the door, things were missed. The community post pointing out the things that were missed allowed me to go back to the team and verify what was missing or what might be a bug. So thank you to that, everyone. If you have anything else you think is missing from the notes that I didn't address here in the post, please let me know in the comments so I could check with the team and get it added. Now we have to touch on this really briefly before I forget after reading further on, but I mentioned that, you know, the Masterwork drops for the support items and the universal items, that would have been a huge feature. But he's also saying that there might be a bug that I said yesterday, I think that accidentally got slipped in. Like, they might have put that in and it wasn't meant to be in this update, because that was actually supposed to come at the end of March update. So in other words, I think something got through early, and the fact that they're saying here, like, help us get our patch notes written is a bit worrisome. And I did mention yesterday, I think that they're down to a skeleton crew, because usually if you have the structured game team has everything in like a program called Jira, and they're putting stuff into the game and it's being logged. And essentially, if you're designing patch notes, you just go into Jira and like basically copy paste everything and put it all out and organize it. But it almost feels like it's like word of mouth or something. And it also seems like something's being added into the game and not being recorded, or something slipping through. So something in their infrastructure, either a lack of members or a lack of monitoring things, or some holes in the software, things are getting through and they're not being documented properly. And that is really, really, really concerning, because we've seen this in several times in the patches. Like, Like every single patch so far, we've seen this. Things getting missed, patch notes being written very strangely, like just basically like a summary. Like someone says, hey, what'd you put in the patch notes today? Oh, okay, let me just write up a summary. It doesn't seem like bullet point patch notes like you're used to seeing. Hard numbers, straight pulled out of Jira. It doesn't seem proper to me. So this is very concerning, but at least they're addressing it. So let's continue on. Masterwork Universal Components added in 1.03 from GM1 Plus. Symbolic Surge, Softened Blows, Thermal Cooling, Rejuvenated Ammo, and Energy Power. And there's a detailed description of what those components do. Masterwork Embers from Harvesting Nodes. I checked with the team and this was indeed bugged. The team is working on getting a fix tomorrow, March 12th. This will be a hot fix and won't require any patch to download. So there you guys go. The Masterwork Embers should be fixed tomorrow, sometime tomorrow. So if you're watching this video, it might not be fixed yet. Now I have to bring up another issue here with the fact that this is a bug and it got through, and there are already many other bugs that got through. These patches are not being tested, and we saw this with the last patch where they said we're going to add in common and uncommon item drops, and last minute they blasted out a tweet saying we can't get this ready in time, like it's not working, something's not working. It's usually standard practice to get the patch out to your QA team like 3 days in advance at least, and they test the crap out of it, and they test all the features that are pointed out in the patch notes. That's why you should have patch notes early, well written out. QA team checks it all, and then they pass it through, and then no bugs go through. And it seems like these patches are coming through last minute. We've got it ready, throw it live, let the community discover it all. And we're basically QA testing this game right now, and I think that's part of the outrage. Right? It's just some people are saying enough with the loot. The game's not even working properly for me. The bugs are still an issue for me. And this is true. And I think that's where a lot of the heat is coming from. It's the loot at this point would at least make people happy because they have to deal with all this other stuff. Moving on, he says the other changes, colors now apply to launchers for the Ranger and Colossus javelins in the Forge. Current values for daily, weekly, and monthly challenges are intended. The values were different last month since Anthem launched on February 22nd, and the team wanted players to still be able to obtain the rewards that month. Again, like not properly figuring out those numbers for your launch date and figuring it out after launch. It's upsetting. The following items have values were not intended and will be changed back in the upcoming patch. If you see any other items decrease values, it's likely a bug since there were no nerfs in this update. Special arms damage component, epic special arms ammo universal component, Truth of Tarsus multiplier, Winter's Wrath ice storm ability, chaotic rhyme ice shards, amulet of winter's wrath, all those have been nerfed, but that was a bug. But I'm still like, how does that happen? Someone has to manually go in there and change those numbers, don't they? And when they make that change to the change log, it should say that in like Jira or whatever program they're using, that, you know, these numbers were modified and there should be a change log for all that stuff. I seriously don't understand what's happening, and it's messy practice. It's definitely malpractice for sure. So those are all the changes to the patch that were not indicated in the patch notes, addressed by the community manager. Let's move on to some other Bioware responses. So Japanese community opinion. I'd like to write opinions of the Japanese community. I'm not so good at English, so I write these in bullets. The game is great, though there are several bad points. We wish the improvement because we love this game. The greatest dissatisfaction is scarce drop. Please keep difficulty and increase drop rate. Now I have to mention here, if Japanese games are usually really grindy and hard to get drops, and they're dissatisfied with the drop rate. So it's universal at this point, guys. Almost 95% dissatisfactions are solved by increasing drop. No incentive for challenging GM 2 and 3. Decreased Masterwork Ember drop rate is bad. Well, that's been addressed, so that'll be fixed tomorrow. The diversity of builds is important thing, and right now I do see that. Like I'm like, why would I use anything but throwing stars on my my interceptor? They're just so powerful. Like, we need more Masterwork properties. Sense of accomplishment is more important than no bug. Almost 80% of community members are satisfied just before the patch. Maybe the reason is clear. I don't understand that. Almost 15% of community members are satisfied after the patch. Maybe the reason is too clear. I have a hard time understanding that one. Maybe you guys can make it out and throw a comment down below. Because of no tempting boss drop, players disconnect after second chest opening. GM 1 and 2 boss should be random, not only Masterwork gear. I agree with that. Like, I don't like the fact that it's just abilities off bosses. GM3 should ensure legendary drops. I 100% agree to that. My biggest feedback to GM2 and 3 is the chests after every checkpoint need to drop Masterworks. Like, they have to be guaranteed. And it has to be any Masterwork in the game. It could be weapons, abilities, components, whatever. The last boss has to drop a legendary on GM2 and 3. And 3 is you should drop like 2 or so. In fact, in GM3, I think every chest should have a legendary because it takes a long time to clear it. A very long time. And then he says, we criticize the game because we love the game. We wish success of the game. Thank you for reading. So very nice, constructive post from the Japanese community. Hashimoto-kun has posted that. Very nice. And Bioware Response saying, thanks for taking the time to write this. We sincerely appreciate the feedback. I understand where listening or variants of that phrase have become cliche language for some, but it is best reassurance I can give until we are able to show you something tangible to address your concerns or frustrations. Hopefully, most of you understand that we'll still care deeply about this Anthem community. And we all care deeply about the Anthem community. This is by UNT Drew. We all care about the community, and I think that's why everybody's outraged. Nobody has ill will towards the game. And everybody is mad because they do care about the game. And at one point, the drop rates were good. If the actual gear itself isn't inspiring and it's a 1 in 65,000 chance that you're going to get a Masterwork weapon with 200% weapon damage, that's extremely rare. Then the drop rate needs to be increased so that people can literally get hundreds of them a night because they're going to most likely chuck out 99 out of 100 of those. And so just for now, you can fix the drop rate like you did before and then go further and tune things, make things better, and just figure it out later. But for now, you just got to do something, I think. What do you guys think? Next up, a post here saying, look guys, Anthem is in a bad place right now, but remember to be civil towards the devs. There are people too, and probably under a bit of stress right now. Voice your feedback, but be considerate, and most of all, there is an actual living person on the other side of it. Anthem needs changes, improvements, but remember your words aren't directed towards the game, they're directed towards people. And this got a lot of upvotes. Look at that, 10,000 upvotes. You know, it's true. The developers are people, and a lot of people are just like laying down some mean. I haven't showed half of them. Like, I showed some posts of the fury and the outrage and all that stuff, but there's just a lot of mean stuff being said out there, and it's basically directed towards the devs because they are the creators of the game, and it sucks. So we definitely want to be civil here and be respectful, but at the same time, I do feel like this goes up levels. Like I said, it seems to me, based on like the lack of things happening and the lack of content on the roadmap, that Bioware has been stripped down to a skeleton crew. I cannot confirm that, but it feels like the people who made Mass Effect, the people who made Dragon Age, the people who made this game, if you had 200 plus people working on this, like, wouldn't these issues be solved within like a week? Think about how the manpower there. It doesn't seem possible to me that there's the full Bioware team working on this. So that kind of maybe falls back around to like the publisher making decisions as well. I have no idea though. I can't say for sure. Maybe EA's like, okay, we need you to get on the next Dragon Age game and leave some people behind on this game, because the minimum value product, which is Anthem, which shipped, is what you paid for. They've received the money already. There's no additional content packs that are going to charge you, so they just need to have enough people to release cosmetics and drip feed content. So in terms of an executive decision, they sold you your game and they made their money, and they can go off and do more investments now. They're not necessarily forced to keep the entire Bioware team on the game, and that's the sad truth. But who knows? Maybe things are just chaotic over there, and there is a lot of people working on it, and there's more to it than we understand. And maybe there's a huge expansion pack plan that we don't know about, and like 90% of the dev team is on that. But if that's the case, they need to shuffle things around a little bit, because the immediate needs attention. All right, moving on, there was a reply to that nice comment by Bioware Community Manager Drew. He says, we're still reading your feedback. I know there's some frustrations being voiced here, but hopefully you all understand we're not going to run away just because we have some negative comments on the sub. We're here for all of it, good and bad, and hopefully the constructive will win out in the end. Definitely true. I still believe in them. And then here's another post saying, Bioware, hey, it's easier to craft Masterworks. Also, Bioware, no more Masterwork embers for you. And he says, WTF, why? Well, we know that's being addressed, so let's see what the response is. I checked with the team on this, and there is a bug crashing. There's a bug causing Masterwork embers to have much lower drop rates than intended. I'm still waiting to see how long the fix will take, but once it's in the drop rates, should be back to how they were pre-103. I'll again reply once the fix is live. So yeah, Masterwork embers are being fixed, guys. And there's a reply to that reply of people saying, I just want to say you're a brave man for replying right now. Kudos to you. And another reply saying, LMAO, yeah, this place is a minefield right now. And Reddit certainly is a minefield right now for this game. I've never, ever seen anything like it. So moving on, the protest that I showed off yesterday of people wanting the loot changed back is now at 12,000 upvotes. Holy moly, that is picking up by storm. I think yesterday was at like 4K. That was like 10 hours ago when I made that video. Jesus. Unpopular opinion, I enjoy the game more than the lack of loot. Personally, this game has some of the best gameplay I've played in years. I read all the hate for the loot and just sit here thinking how much I'd rather enjoy the game than worry about my loot. I like the positive outlook there, and I do agree. I think the issues isn't necessarily within the amount of loot that we're getting, because I used to play Korean games like Lineage 2, Aeon, Arc Age. I mean, I played games that were super, super grindy, and I would spend days, weeks, months trying to earn gear. I have no problem with loot, like, not dropping often. And a lot of people are saying, oh, you're a bunch of crybabies. Well, it's just when the loot drops, it's just very uninspired, and like you get bad rolls, and it doesn't feel like you just disenchant everything. The problem there isn't the amount of loot, it's what the loot is when it finally drops. And I think people are saying turn up the loot drop rates so that we have more chances of finally getting that good one. If they just tuned up the rolls on the inscriptions, I think people would be fine with the way it drops now, because every time you get a drop, it'd be exciting. So I do have to agree here with every day I get older. Basically, the gameplay is phenomenal, and I really enjoy the gameplay. And depending on how much this person has played, and anyone who agrees with them, eventually you'll find yourself doing free play Tyrant Mines over and over and over again. And even though the gameplay is fun, and you know you've played the 4 different javelins, it's going to feel the same over and over and over again. So having multiple builds created through loot is going to go, oh, look, I made 4 different ranger loadouts. Now you can play the gameplay 4 different ways. I made 4 different interceptor loadouts because of the gear I got. And now the gameplay changes again. Doing that Tyrant Mines or free play is going to feel exciting again because you have a new build. Right now, I feel like everybody's kind of funneling towards the top tier build for their character and just trying to get the loot for that to make it possible. And there's not a lot of creativity going into the gameplay, and that's based off of the poorly designed loot. So I think loot makes gameplay better. That's my point there. To bring it all back around, loot can improve gameplay through creativity in builds. Boom. And next up, another positive post with 1.1k upvotes. Good luck, Bioware employees. After seeing the subs blow up over the weekend, you know there's going to be some urgent meetings happening this morning. I hope they can find a resolution fast and get this game back on the right track. Definitely agree. Good luck to Bioware employees. I wish them all the best. Now, guys, after all the loot debacles that we talked about in yesterday's video and what's on Reddit, we have some shiners seeping through. Take a look at this. 55 luck might help. And this grenade has gear 100% charges, gear 200% charges. And a grenade has 1 charge by default. So do the math. This grenade, legendary grenade, can be thrown 4 times. 4 times. Hitting an enemy adds 700% ultimate charge. Now, that doesn't mean you get 7 ultimates from this. It's basically throwing a grenade will give you, like, I guess 10% ultimate charge, and then times that by 7. So it'll be like, I mean, it might be less, but you'll get 35% of your ultimate back, roughly. I think someone did the math where it's like between 25 to 30% of your ultimate charge per grenade. So he could throw all 4 grenades, use his ultimate, throw 4 more grenades, use his ultimate, throw 4 more grenades, use his ultimate. Like, that is nuts. That is a seriously, that is going to make that person want to play. That kind of loot is like gnarly. But now it's like, well, would you ever use anything but that? It's a detonator. I mean, that is nuts. So we did the math yesterday, and it was like a 1 in 36,000 chance to get the item you want and then to get the rolls you want on it. This, with double gear charges, is it's literally like 1 in 4 million. So the 55 luck, he might help. It's a myth. I had 230 luck on my character, and I went and did something like 8 hours of playing. My results were no different from without luck. I have no idea what luck does. And honestly, I hate the idea of luck in games because you're always going to go build a magic find gear. We saw that problem with Diablo 2. We don't want magic find gear. We want builds. If you're always going to be like, well, I would rock up my awesome build, but I need to equip my luck gear. Like, you're always going to want to prioritize your luck gear. Like, you're going into GM2, well, I should probably bring my luck gear. Going into GM3, well, I should probably bring my luck gear. You're never going to go in there with your most efficient build because you're always going to want the luck of better gear. So I think they got to get rid of the luck stat, in my honest opinion. What do you guys think? I mean, there's a reason they got rid of it after Diablo 2. So, game design philosophy, it's not smart, in my opinion. All right, we've got another one here. Best roll on legendary weapon. Weapon damage 200%. Wow. Another 1 in 36,000 chance to get a weapon you like that has that roll. Very lucky. So people's luck are turning around, and I think it's kind of ironic considering all the loot cries. And, you know, we're getting some posts out there saying, look, they're very few and far between. But we got more! This is a pretty sweet roll for the Cycle of Pain Legendary. And we have 225% physical damage, another 75% physical damage. So 300 physical percent damage overall. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Another one, with all the justifiable hate surrounding loot, thought I'd share this gem that dropped from me from a Fury. 250% weapon damage. Wow. Beautiful. And it's the Truth of Tarsus. Man. And it has sniper 15% damage. And 15% force. Wow, that is such a good roll. I am so jealous. That is the weapon I use the most. Darn. I don't even have a legendary version of that. That's a legendary version. Jeez. Wow. So lucky. I'm a little bit jealous. Could be worse. And this is another one. Weapon damage 250%, weapon damage 150%. That's a total of 400% weapon damage. What? I didn't even think that's possible. So that goes back to the 1 in 36,000 chance to get the weapon roll you want. He got the weapon roll he wanted twice. That's literally like 1 in a million or more. Like, some people are out there getting lucky. So it just goes to show, if you stick with it, you keep playing the game, you keep trying, eventually your luck will turn up. But I know there's people in my Discord personally who've been grinding at the game for day after day, like 10 hours a day for weeks straight, not a single legendary, not a single good roll. And this guy here could have been playing for 2 hours this week, and that dropped for them. So depending on how hard you're trying, and you're trying, it's going to eventually lead to frustration. And then your buddy comes in and he's like, I've never played this game. Is this gun any good? And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And that's the problem with the way the RNG is tuned. It's extremely dependent on luck, on a luck stat that doesn't even work. And I don't think luck should be a factor. It should be earned. I did GM3. I got a Rolling Carnage with 250% weapon damage. That's my reward for beating GM3. What did I get for GM3? Nothing. And that was painful. Next up, probably the best possible rolls, and this is a more common one. 4% weapon damage, 9% weapon damage, acid 3% damage, clip 7%. That's the kind of stuff I'm seeing. I crafted something like 15 Truth of Tarsuses, and they were all like that. And that's the frustration people are seeing with the loot right now. So just had to follow it up to bring it all back around that not everyone's lucky. And check this out. I made my own loot. That is phenomenal. Somebody molded this, 3D printed it. I don't know. That is stunning looking. And the paint on it, the paint job is just phenomenal. Really good job. Absolutely amazing. All right, here's a little tip for everyone. Made an efficient farming route for world events. This is a map. So basically you start here and you work your way around hitting all these possible world events, which is pretty cool. Very nice. Here's another interesting tip slash bug slash exploit. Take off your support items, enjoy the bug that boosted damage. Pretty similar to the level 1 gun issue, but try it out and enjoy. I don't know what the level 1 gun issue is, and I usually don't condone exploits or cheatings, but I don't really know what it means either. So someone says here, wait, I'm confused. What do we got to do? And he says, make a new loadout and don't equip a support. Just the LB, the RB, LB item, or all three? Remove the LB, RB button gear. So I thought the support, I don't know what the LB, RB is on the controller. I would assume those were your actual abilities, but he's, in the original post, it said, take off your support items. But there's usually only one support item, right? It's their support slot. So I think they must be referring to remove your abilities. Either way, apparently running around with less abilities is going to give you more damage output. So the reason I wanted to highlight this here is because it's another bug that seeped through that hasn't been tested, and it might be directly related to the fact that they added new support drops into the game. If you want to do more damage, you're going to be removing your abilities, and that's very counterproductive because now people are just not using abilities and running around with guns, and it seems very like a very poor way to play the game. But I don't think this is gonna, I don't know how much he doesn't describe how much this boosts your damage. I don't know if that is going to be more effective than me using like 300% damage throwing stars, you know? So it's something to test out and see, but if you're right now rocking like your abilities suck, but you have like the Truth of Tarsus with a component that allows you to reload it, well, you don't necessarily need your abilities. So if you can boost your damage, then all of a sudden your Truth of Tarsus is going to basically one-shot bosses, which could be pretty gnarly. So that's a bug that Bioware definitely needs to fix. I haven't tried it out for myself, but there it is if you're interested in tinkering with it and seeing how it goes. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, I want to end the video off with, check this out. The Division 2 is going live March 11th, 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and those are the other numbers: March 12th at 1 a.m. ET, March 11th at 11 p.m. UK, and March 12th at 11 a.m. AU. So at the time of me recording this video, it goes live in an hour and 15 minutes. Probably by the time I edit it, upload it, I'll already be late. But if you're watching this video now, it's probably live. So boom. If you're still frustrated with Anthem, well, the Division Early Access is now live. So there you go. Boom. Tons of stuff to go over here today. Another long news video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. It's good to see that the devs are responding to some of this stuff. They're working towards fixing it. It's chaos, man. It's super chaos, but I hope for the best, and I'm really looking forward to the end of March update for Anthem. So don't worry, I'll be checking that out, even though I'm going to be playing the Division. I got a week to go on that. Then Satisfactory comes out. Then we're back to the Anthem update. It's the craziest month of the year for me probably right now. So we're just going ham. So I've ended off there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, smash that like button, subscribe for more daily content. And if you enjoy the show and everything I do here, please do consider checking out my Patreon page, and you can support me further there. Anything is appreciated, even just $1. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.